Antioch 15-0 over Libertyville. Zion Benton 28-6 over Mundelein, and Warren 28 and Fenton 7.
How's that? Is that better?
Well, we're just about ready to get underway. The Deerfield Warriors, last little inspiration. The Evanston Wildcats down on the field do their last little bit of inspiration, and we'll be ready to get underway with the football action here today. And as we said, it should be a real super football game on tap. So stick around, stay with us. This may be the best game of the whole year. There you go. There's the scores from last week. We've got some other sports scores for you. We'll get them during the course of the day. As you see, Deerfield with that big victory over Rolling Meadows, 28-10. Evanston, 32-14 over Oak Park. And the rest of the scores here. Okay, we're set to get underway. Jay Mansavage to do the honors. A junior for Deerfield. 5'11", 165 pounds. And everybody up for the opening kickoff. Our regular play-by-play man is lost in transit somewhere. So I'm doing the honors a cappella today. And we're ready to get underway. Back deep for Evanston. Tavish Davis. To the near side. There's the kickoff. To the far side, drops it, picks it up to the 10, up to the 20, and hit hard and down at about the 21 or 22-yard line, and that's where the Wildcats will take over. Right in the middle of the mud area on the center field. Center of the field, midfield. And Jim Reeder will start off as the starting quarterback today for the Wildcats. Reeder, a 6-foot, 185-pound junior. There's the handoff inside. Luther Bryant picks up about 3 or 4. Make it 3. And second down and 7 for the Wildcats. A sticky afternoon. Certainly have a thread of rain rolling in here, looks like, from the west. We're ready. Here's Reeder. Out the pass, out wide, found the man, and picked up a few. That size certainly played an advantage there, up over the man. And we picked up about another 2 on the play. That makes it 3rd down and 5. Just underway in the first quarter. That's the Deerfield schedule coming up. They've got the big game against Maine South next week. One of the powers in the southern central suburban south. There's the handoff inside on the trap play. Didn't gain very much. And that'll do it. 4th down, and the Wildcats will have to boot it away. Muddy field today, and they're going to have some trouble. Both teams are going to have trouble today with their footing out there on the field. The sophomore game ended early, but it's so humid there wasn't very much drying off. You can see how deep the players' feet are going into that mud and into that dirt. Back to kick is Reeder. And the punt's on. And picked up at about the 42. Mansavage is down and out inside Evanston territory at about the Wildcat 48, and that's where the Deerfield Warriors will take over. Evanston didn't find very much early on. These two teams have played in the last 7 years that they've played. Evanston has lost all 7. Now we're ready. Dana Lyons at quarterback. There's the outside handoff, second man, big hole. Got to the outside and picked up about 8, Chris Lim. Lim got to the outside on the second handoff. Good job on the first fake and going through the hole. And then Lim to the outside, brought it over here to the near side and picked up about 8.
7 times.
Dana Lyons. Again, hand off the Lim, got the first down, and about another yard or 2 beyond that. We'll call it 3. That'll be first and 10 for the Deerfield Warriors at the about 37-yard line. 9:02 to play here in the first,
on the line. The secondary rotation is in our favor.
First quarter. And we're just about ready to get underway here with the next play. Lyons brings it out. Inside handoff and powering his way ahead on Masheris. Picked up a few. That was kind of a muscled ahead.
61 left to left. Okay.
We'll call it 5 yards on the gain, although it's a long 5. Second down, 5 yards to go for the Deerfield Warriors. Powering ahead inside the end.
Took him too long to get there.
And picked up a few.
It was wide open.
And the ball carrier was Masheris, 6'1", 190-pound senior. He picked up maybe a yard. They call it 2, but I think it's only 1 yard. So they call it third down and 4. They're saying 3, but it's actually 4. Looks like from here. There we go.
Should be good again.
Bump. And got lost. Busted play. Lyons got busted up, and that'll be 4th down. And now the assumption here is that the Warriors will probably kick it back and look for a corner. Jay Manzavage back. Manzavage back to punt it.
Well, yeah, but the tackle was made by Jewell.
And down low. Low snap and blocked. And that's it.
Come on, boys.
The low snap, and nobody picked up the man over here on the near side, big number 85. And that was all. Well, it's the first possible big break of the game. A blocked punt. And now Reeder out again. We'll try and set the offense going. There's the handoff on the far side, following the way ahead, and picks up about 8. And Luther Bryant, the ball carrier. I didn't pick up quite that many. I mean, he went down beforehand.
He could have done a real good job.
Call that at 6 yards. That's second down and 4. An official timeout. Second down, 4 yards to go. And nobody setting any offense yet to speak of. And I think that's mostly the conditions on the field that are sort of dictating things early on here. Some of the other sports events going on. Hello there, ladies. Some of the other events going on this past week. some of the non-conference football games. We'll get to some of those in a little bit. Some of the other teams in the Central Suburban. We'll get to that in a little while. And some of the other scores as well. Now we're ready. Reader got bumped. Again, handed off and didn't gain very much. Torrey Weidman, the ball carrier, was that? Third down and a long one. Reader over to get a little instruction here on what to do. Third down, a long one. John Reel, the coach for the Evanston Wildcats. Second man through, big hole, got the first down. Luther Bryant, the ball carrier. And that's Evanston's first down of the game. Last week in girls tennis, the Barrington Invitational, Deerfield finished third with 21 points. Highland Park finished eighth with 4.5. We'll get to some of the other sports as the time allows. Reader, back to pass, up long, and off the shoulder pad. In and out of the hands. And the shoulder pad. Reader got it up there, had the man beat. Just a little bit off by a fraction of a hair. And now we face a 2nd and 10 for the Wildcats. Deerfield trying to stop the play. It's still inside Evanston end with Evanston controlling the ball.
Here comes the stunt.
There's Reader with the keeper. Reader still got room, and now he busts it free. Reader pulled down from behind inside the Deerfield 30. Long gain. Brian Jurwitz, 6'6", 245-pound senior, and finally brought him down on a little stunt play. Reader on the keeper found a lot of room. Now at the 29, it's 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. Jim Reader back, handed off to Brian. Brian just barely got back to the line of scrimmage if he got there. Didn't find the hole. Looked for it. Sort of had some problems and stopped looking to read and trying to find a hole. He just never found it. Now they'll say he picked up a yard. Okay, 2nd and 9. And out come the Wildcats again. Reader back to pass. Up the middle. Intercepted by James Radigan. And it's Wildcats giving up the ball. And the Deerfield Warriors take over at their 12. Boy, that's a big, costly turnover for the Wildcats. Okay, because they had begun to find the range. Here's a handoff to the near side, Lim. And he picks up about 5 or 6. Make it 6, 2nd down and 4. Everybody has their own way of counting those yards. They're saying 7, so that'll be 3 yards to go for the first down for the Deerfield Warriors. Out again comes Lyons, the quarterback for the Deerfield Warriors. making sure he has the play set. Hand off inside. Brings it up. Didn't pick very much up, but came close to the first, though. It looks like he's got it. They got it, 1st and 10. The second first down for the Deerfield Warriors in the game. I don't know. We were talking last week about it, and I think, again, a game like this, particularly early in the season and with the heat and the humidity today, I'd be a little scared of sending a player both ways, but there are a couple out there today. Inside again, there, gains big yardage on the ground, picked up about 7 or 8. Measures picked up, as I said, about 8. 2nd down and 2. Warriors grinding it out. Got to get out of there deep inside their zone. They're just over their 30. Now, here, back to pass from blind side. Got it away and complete for the 1st down. Complete on the ground to Michael Jewell to the near side. Lions felt the pressure coming up behind him, and I think he had a little problem with the pass because of the pressure from behind. Still got it away. Now there's the handoff, bad handoff, and Lions will have to dive on it. So they'll lose the down, 2nd and 10. Maybe they lost a fraction of a yard. They're going to say they lost 1. So we'll make it 2nd and 11. Bad snap. And I'm sure we're probably going to see a couple of those today with that slippery field. A lot of water actually out there. You can't see it, of course, because of the grass, but there is a lot of water out there. You can see how muddy is the Deerfield uniforms already. Back to pass again, Lions. Gives it up, complete, but didn't gain very much. We'll make it 3rd and long at about 6 yards or 7 yards. 7 yards, okay, 3rd and 7. Again, rushed, and again kind of flipped it. Not a strong throw, but Lions got it complete anyway. He's 2 for 2 in that department. And back again, quick, long throw, blindsided a little bit. Ryan Healy busted up that play. With Jurowitz coming in. So that'll be 4th down, and again the drive stalls at about the 40-yard line of the Deerfield Warriors. The Warriors own 40. Well, strange though it may be, late in transit, he makes it. Steve Barnaball finally made his appearance here. Steve will join us shortly. And they punt out of bounds, and 1st and 10 as the Evanston Wildcats. The Wildcats will take over at their own 40 approximately. Steve Barnaball has made his appearance. I won't ask for you.
Mark, it was me. It was a gas truck leak. It was a parking lot full of Warrior and Kit fans. And right now it's a 0-0 ball game, so I'm happy we haven't cussed any of the exciting action yet.
Oh, yeah, you missed a great block punt. Here's Reeder to the near side. And Bryant didn't gain very much, maybe a yard is all. And, yeah, it's early on. That's the end of the 1st quarter, and we have no score. This is going to be a super game. You missed an interception. You missed.
Okay, fill us in a little bit, or give me a real update here what we had from our 1st quarter. Now,
and
see if I can add a few things for you. Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Heck, I was only hired to do color. It's just, this wasn't part of my contract.
Hey, you get 2/3 of pay today. That's what I hear.
Oh, okay. So, well, we had Evanston actually got a pretty good run away by Jim Reeder and got down about the 30, and then on the pass play, an interception. Okay. And then also we had the blocked kick. Beyond that, it's been a soggy wet field and very little in the way of real movement. We've had a couple of first downs, all of them on the run. We've had two pass completions, both of them short, and it's been just a typical Deerfield, Evanston, grind 'em out sort of football game.
Certainly the case in the past. Last year it was an 8-0 Deerfield win. They went into Evanston, and that was part of the undefeated regular season. The year before that, I believe it was up here, Deerfield with a narrow 13-9 victory. So again, as you mentioned, always low-scoring ball games in this series the past couple years, and a wet field today, and a first quarter with no score seems to prove that will be the tendency again here. As you mentioned, Reeder, the quarterback for Evanston, his brother Bill played last year for Evanston, and Reeder also the kicker on this Wildcat team.
I think, well, I didn't say it before,
yeah,
but he's also one of my former students. Oh, we got an illegal procedure, I think, thrown in here.
We will, so though about a 3-yard carry on the play. Bryant's run will probably be nullified as we have motion going against the Wildcats.
Yeah, I had him up at the junior high school up there.
Okay.
There's a bunch of these players. I looked at the list down there. There's a bunch of them that I see that I know.
Evanston again a little inexperienced at some of the power positions this year from previous seasons, but as with any good program, both of these clubs are deep.
Yeah, the Deerfield declined the penalty to get that long yardage situation up. They feel they can block the pass and the long yardage.
It is 3rd down and 10 now. Here in the second quarter, we're early on, no score. Reeder, the quarterback, he'll line up with a single back behind him. Evanston with the 4 receivers this time. Straight drop out of the passing formation. Reeder up the middle. He'll keep it. He's running. He's got running room and a first down and more. He's at the 40. He's at the 30. I think he's gone. Reeder at the 20. He's got one man to beat. A diving tackle attempt. He is in. Touchdown for the Wildcats. A diving attempt near the 5-yard line by Jay Mansavage was not enough to bring down Reeder on the play. And Reeder scampers 55 yards, and the Wildcats get the first score of the ball game.
That's the second time he scampered like that, although the other time was on a keeper. But I think the thing that was interesting to note on that was that the guys didn't touch him. It's just that soggy field and the legs, and it just...
If Reeder hadn't made that first step in the backfield where he turned it upfield cleanly, he almost went down in the backfield. Instead of a 5-yard loss, it turns out to be a huge touchdown run, and Evanston up 6-0 as they bring on the special teams unit for the extra point. Reeder, as mentioned, will kick, and they'll tee it up near the 10-yard line. Last week, I believe he had a 30-yard field goal, so again, plenty of foot there from Reeder. The snap a little off, and that one is no good. Is trying to get the ball down in the wet grass was impossible for Jordan Dalton. And the interior line broke down as Deerfield blocked the extra point attempt. So with 11:24 in the second quarter, 6-0 Deerfield down, up on the down on Evanston after the first score of the game.
I don't think they even got it down. I don't think he got it down on the tee. I think he kicked that with the shin, not even with the foot.
Looked like those drop kicks he used to practice in the backyard. Took one bounce and then tried to get it off the ground.
Yeah, it didn't look to me though like he got that thing down there.
And we've tempered us for later in the game today. We may see if the kicking units withhold because of the soggy field and they go more towards a 2-point conversion, not necessarily to add the points, but just because of the kicking game being so difficult to execute on a soggy field.
Well, except that if you look where most of the field is torn up is up at midfield, not down at the goal lines. So that may bode well during the course of the game.
All right, Deerfield will line up for the receive of the kick. And Addie Klinghoffer is deep for Deerfield. Reeder will get the count to make sure all 11 are on the field for Evanston. Eric Singer up also for Deerfield around the 15-yard line. And there's the whistle. The kick, a long, strong kick. We'll go to the deep man. That's Klinghoffer. Hoffer goes up the middle and spins, brought down just past the 20-yard line. for Deerfield will have first down at their own 21. One thing about Deerfield, Mark, I know that looking at Dana Lyons this year, Dana has always been a good athlete, and watching him in past years develop, I think for him this is an exciting season, knowing that he will be in the spotlight of running the Warrior offense. Even if it is a very run-capable offense, Lyons also has the arm, and which has always been the case, and probably maybe even somewhat misrepresented at times. There's a little stronger passing in than some people realize under Coach Adams.
Well, so far, he's had to hurry up twice. So what we've seen of what he's done right now has been kind of short over the dumps.
They'll go with slant play, and Evanston reads this one as there's no room to go. No gain on the play.
It wasn't a very good handoff. They kind of bumped each other to the handoff.
And you probably saw Nathan Crudup, who was in the bottom of that pile there. He kind of got tangled up as the tackle on the play. Who was the lead blocker. Brett Fleury is going to check out for Deerfield, and James Radigan will replace him in the backfield.
Other scores, I wanted to give some of the other sports that we don't usually do that, and I think it's kind of important because there are other sports, but we do the coverage. Girls tennis, the New Trier Invitational. New Trier Blue won the event with 44 points, while New Trier Green finished 8th with 26, and Regina Dominican 9th with 23.
Another trap this time, a bit more running room for Machuris as Jason gets up near the 30-yard line, just shy near the 29.
And Wendy Fix of New Trier won the first singles for the Trevians. And they had girls tennis last week, the New Trier Invitational. We'll get to some of the others, the boys golf and girls golf and whatever, as time permits.
Talking of these two teams, we have two undefeated teams, but in the second game of the season, that's not a surprise. But with these clubs, it wouldn't be a surprise to see one of them looming near the undefeated mark near the end of the season. So this, of course, a key game, as always, when the two clubs meet. Now at 3rd and 5.
Well, as I mentioned at the very start, they're ranked 3rd and 4th in the city by one of the newspapers. So, they're very close. They're very close team-wise.
Lyons was brought down that time by Alex Gray, and it'll bring up a 4th down for Deerfield in their own territory. A probable punting situation.
I think the thing right now that we're seeing from Evanston is that size up on that front line is taking their toll already early on Deerfield.
Jay Mansavage will do the punting, and of course Mansavage, a familiar name for Warrior fans. Barney Mansavage of the Warriors past. Jay gets off a shank this time off the side of his foot. It'll kneel down near midfield and out of bounds. And it'll give Evanston excellent field position near the 49-yard line of Deerfield.
He's had 3 of those now, kind of short ones. And of course he had the one that was blocked. Or the one that was blocked wasn't his fault.
Well, as you mentioned, the line play here is so important, and in the past there's always been the big bodies. Last year, Michael Adams, Coach Adams' son, who has been outstanding lineman, who has graduated. Deerfield some youth on that line, but Brian Jurwitz has been touted in preseason polls. He stands at 6'6", 245. Ryan Healy will go in at quarterback for Evanston. The handoff off tackle, and struggling forward is Luther Bryant as Bryant picks up about 4 or 5 on the carry. Well, Mark, we do have a replacement of QB, and in the past, I know Evanston has sometimes shuttled quarterbacks. I'm not so sure that's the case this time. If Reeder may not have,
I think they are. I think they're just regular shuffling quarterbacks. I mean, Reeder had 2 long runs very quickly, and I think just give him the rest for a little while.
It's Ryan Healy, a 6-foot senior, standing in at 175, also plays defensive back. Now at quarterback, he hands off to Luther Bryant again, and Bryant, the workhorse of the kid offense so far, as he drives across the 45 down to near the 43-yard line. It'll be 3rd and short yardage for the Wildcats.
Third and 4.
Looks like a timeout on the field. Yeah, they're going to charge this one to the Wildcats. Evanston will take one here. There's 7:48 remaining till half. And Evanston with a 3rd down call here where they'd like to try to keep this drive going and get a second score here. Make it difficult for Deerfield to get up at halftime.
Okay, Steve. No, I want to hear. Where were you? Where were you really?
I literally was here on my way here about 40 minutes before game time, and there was right on the Edens a gas leak, which backed us up from about Tower Road to Lake. And at some point I said, well, unless we get the wireless mics fed into the car, this is going to be a long afternoon. Then I came here, and again, the Warriors are so good at turning out for their games. We also had so many Kid fans here. Spent another 10 minutes driving around the lot. At some point I thought, that's it. Mark's going solo for the rest of the year. He's had it with me.
Well, I thought there was somebody else involved.
Afraid not. No, actually, in the past, it was one of those things where our producer would not allow the color man and the play-by-play man to come together because of that. He always felt he had a 50-50 shot if at least one of us tried separately.
I was here on time.
I'm very proud of you. One of these days, I'm going to take off at noon for a 2 o'clock game and make it. All right, triple backfield for Evanston. They'll hand it to the deep man, Brian. Brian slips an ankle tackle. He looks like he's short of a first down. It will be close. I think he needed to get to the 40-yard line, and he fell just about a yard shy.
Well, see, with me, when I do this stuff, I'm so used to running the whole operation myself, setting up the equipment and everything, that I'm always make sure I'm at least an hour ahead of time in the rink and have everything all set up just in case something happens. So I'm just used to doing that.
4th down now for Evanston, and with a yard to go, they're going to drop into punt formation. Interesting call here. They're up 6-0 and don't want to risk the good field position to Deerfield here. Would rather have them try and get the long drive. That is, if they go for the punt. Obviously, Deerfield will be looking to see if they go for a fake here. The long snap, and it's over the head of Reeder. It's going to be deep. No pressure, though. He's going to have time to punt it, and he gets it off. But it will go down and takes an Evanston roll, and Evanston gets a break here as it's down at the 25-yard line at Deerfield. A long snap that time, but the Kits drew a break mark as the pressure did not get in on Reeder.
It looked like there was no pressure going in the first place. They saw the ball go over the head, and then they started to back.
And you know, it's like trying to get a second start off this kind of turf. Very difficult if you're not already in motion.
Yeah, particularly on the wet turf. But that was the idea. I think they were content just to take the football. And then even after they saw it go over the head, it looked like they were slow to react. Maybe that's just the footing that made that second slow to react.
All right, about 6.5 till half here. Deerfield with the ball, trying to get on the scoreboard. Dana Lyons at QB. Lyons, a dive play off to the left side. They'll get near the far hash mark, just shy of the 30-yard line.
Soccer from last week. How's that?
Okay, let's get some scores.
Glenbrook South tournament. It was Frem 2 and Stevenson 1 in the title game. New Trier 6 and Farragut 1. In the Lake Forest tournament, Cary Grove 2 and Highland Park nothing. In the Wheeling tournament, Rolling Meadows 1 and Deerfield nothing.
And now 2nd down and 7 for Deerfield. With the triple backfield, they'll spread it. Handoff on a cross. It will go. Ball is loose on the ground. And the Wildcats are signaling it is their ball. The referees still have not been able to unman that pile and make a call.
It did look like Evanston's ball.
We got it back.
Looks like they will signal Deerfield ball on this. And it is 3rd down now for Deerfield.
Somebody's got to talk to Jewel. He's disassembling.
That was Michael Jewell on the carry that time. Jewell lost the handle on it. And then a host of bodies on the ground. The Warriors able to come up with a loose ball. And now it's 3rd and 5 for Deerfield. Crude up the center, leads the Warriors out. A big 3rd down play here. The Warriors trying to keep the ball and get back into contention here. Lyons, he's got trouble in the backfield. He has to elude a runner. He jumps over one, but down he goes to the 30-yard line. In the backfield that time was number 85 for Evanston. Didn't make our roster, but he must have came up from the JV. Did a nice play that time of just being in the right place to clog things up, and the runner could not get outside.
Well, I think we're seeing the excellent pursuit along the line. Evanston is not being phased by the movement, and the size differential here is really taking its toll now. And Evanston able to get to the men.
Man Savage here with an important punt. Needs to get a little better one than he did last time. Good snap to him. Penalty marker, and it is a better punt. It'll drive the Evanston receivers deep as it goes over their head at the 32-yard line and out of bounds, but a penalty marker on the play.
I think it's offside against Evanston, I think.
Referees will huddle near midfield. And it is an offside call.
No, illegal procedure.
But it's going to go, procedure, but it will go against Deerfield. And because of the good kick, I'm sure Evanston will take the penalty and drop back Deerfield 5 yards. And they will kick back near their own 26-yard line.
The way that sort of came from this side of the line, I thought it was an offside, but actually it was the illegal procedure, some movement on this near side. It was over here on the near side, actually, that the movement took place.
Here you can see those jerseys starting to get nice and muddy, looking like some of that Central Division play in pro football.
We're gonna have problems long about the fourth quarter if it keeps on like it is, as muddy as it is. Somebody out there did something. Wait a minute.
It's still 4th down, but they have not dropped the ball back from the original marking here. Referee, I think, noticing that. And now they will mark it off. You can see the Evanston backfield there in your picture, the receivers. And now they will mark off the penalty.
They forgot to take the 5 yards.
That'd have been good news to Coach Adams, but instead they will have to drop the 5. And so this time, Man Savage will kick near his 12-yard line. Again, maybe even a more important kick now. Again, a good snap. And a real good kick. Nice and high kick back near the 39-yard line, but there's running room to be had. Here comes the Warrior on the line. Wildcats up to the 40, and they are in Deerfield territory. Tackle made that time by Dave Jordan. And you know what? They're already having that problems with the uniform numbers. So much mud couldn't pick it up. The Wildcat returner that time. I think it was Tavish Davis. Is that who you saw?
No, I think it might have been. Yeah, that's what it is, Davis.
There's your score. 4:22 remaining until halftime. Wildcats will line up, it looks like, out of the eye. Wide receivers left and right. And from the right hash mark. Reeder hands it off. And again, Luther Bryant picks up a good chunk of yardage, working off the tackles, about 4 yards on the carry.
I'll tell you how important this game is. I noticed down there is the big sports reporter for the Sun-Times and the Tribune. They're both guys that I know because through the other sports that I do. But they're both down there on the field. I see them covering it. So I
see the Pioneer Press here. Also, one of the local cable shows out here today. There's a full crew of reporters at this ballgame.
We haven't used them as a hammer yet.
Well, it's an important game. It is definitely a very important game.
Reeder's going to go to the air. He looks over the middle. He throws a duck, and it goes over the head of his intended receiver. He had a hard time. It looked like getting a grip on the ball, and it was incomplete.
Man Savage was covering the man and had him well.
92, the intended receiver for Evanston. Again, we'll have to try and get a check on halftime on who we have there, not listed in our guide.
I think the thing that we're going to see a lot of is we're going to see a lot of passing plays that don't work here. Not because the players are doing anything wrong per se, but just because of both sides, both ends of it, at both the quarterback and at the running back.
Reeder on the option. He's stuck in the backfield and dropped for a loss. The Warriors with a good pursuit that time blocked up what looked like an option to the right. And he was tackled in the backfield, lost about 2 on the play.
I mean, what I'm saying is maybe the quarterback is doing his job and the play is setting itself up properly, but it's not working because of the field. People slipping and sliding out there as they try and do their cuts.
4th down now for Evanston. A big hold for the Warriors. About 7 yards needed for the first down here. The Kits will drop into punt formation. They will kick near their midfield. So Man Savage will drop back deep along with Kevin Carlson. Reeder with a low line drive kick. Aimed right at Carlson. Carlson goes straight ahead, and he gets some good yards, giving Deerfield a little running room out of their own end zone area. Takes it across the 20-yard line.
Tell you what, maybe if I get a chance, I'll get the reporter for the Sun-Times to come up, and maybe we can do a quick talk with him a little bit about what he's seen across the board in this game in football.
Well, both of these teams impressive in their first week victories. Deerfield over Rolling Meadows, Evanston over Oak Park.
Yeah, both of them by big scores, 28-10 and 32-14.
And of course, for Evanston and Coach John Ryle, that was a ghost out of the closet, as Ryle came from Oak Park and he beat his old school last week. So I'm sure there was a little bit of extra involved. Lions on the handoff. There's some running room to be had. And Eric Singer found the hole and got across the 30-yard line, gain of about 7 on the play. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 3, and Deerfield has to be in a bit of a hurry-up offense now as the clock nears the 2-minute mark in the half.
Run it again before they wake up.
Flore comes off to the sidelines for Deerfield. And the ref trying to keep the ball dry here. Will come from the near hash mark. Lyons gets them down and takes the snap with a single back. It's Singer to the right side, and he goes over the same area. This time Evanston collapses a little better, but it looks like he has a first down. If not, he's very close.
No, he's got it. From where I sit here, it looks like he's got it.
He does, and at the signal, the chains will move, and the clock will stop with 1:44 to go until half. The Warriors with their first down of the second quarter. Quarter has moved quite quickly because of all the ground game so far, and a surprise almost that it was the first down for Deerfield this quarter, but it comes at an important time now as they're nearing midfield. A little slant play, no running room to be had for Jason Macheras. Macheras tried to go off left tackle on the misdirection, and it did not gain much.
Deerfield is just not getting the holes up that middle right now. They are just not there. They are not getting the hole. They're not making the holes, let me put it that way. I'm not sure if it doesn't look to me like the running backs are missing the holes. It looks like the forward line of Deerfield is not making those holes.
James Radigan checks back in for Deerfield. They'll run a backfield now of Singer and Macheras. 3-man backfield. Singer will be the one to take it. Second back through. Gets out near the 30-yard line. Gain of about 4, but now the clock under a minute. And the Warriors may have to go to the air here if they're interested in trying to put some points up.
Take a timeout, go to the air. Take a couple of timeouts and go to the air, maybe.
Or if we know Coach Adams, run the ball out, go in at halftime, chew a little butt, come back second half, and try to drive right up that middle again.
And he does it so well, too.
Rumor I've been hearing is that there's a possibility this may be the last season for Coach Adams.
Yeah.
First, we lost Chick Chakowski last year in New Trier. A couple of legends actually in the North Shore going by the wayside possibly. Singer on the trap, goes to the right. He gets across the 40. He'll be short of a first down, and he'll bring up a 4th down. The clock down to under 5 seconds, and that may be the last play. Evanston might try to get it back.
Somebody's taking a timeout.
Yeah, Evanston will take the timeout trying to get the ball back. In this case, even if they were to go for a punt, that's a dangerous play. All Deerfield has to do is sit on it, and that should run out the clock.
Well, now you're talking about Chakowski, you know,
yes,
as compared to Coach Adams. Coach Adams, you know, may have said it's his last year, but Chakowski said it was his last year for 4 years before it was finally his last year.
Kind of like boxers who always retire and come back. Actually, coaches are not quite in that realm, but actually it'll be interesting to see the Trevians later this year. Dan Mortier, the new coach at New Trier.
Well, it's still going to be a tough year for New Trier. It's a new
definitely a rebuilding year under a new offense.
New offense, new style of coaching, everything else. I mean, it's going to be a long, tough year. You know, you got to have a tough year.
Of course, their opening week against Conant, that's a tough way to start a year, no matter how good your club is. We'll see how they improve when they get into Suburban League play.
Well, they're playing today across the rivalry, I believe. I think Niles North is in the north, the Central Suburban North, and they're playing Niles North today.
And North also is actually undefeated. They won their first game of the year against Morton in a 10-7 ball game in the first week.
14-7.
14-7, thank you. 14-7. Hit those Central Suburban leads, Connor. You are going to be Mr. Scores. I like this. This is already good. All right, 2 seconds left here until half. 6-0 in favor of Evanston. Deerfield on a 4th down and 2 will probably fall on it. They go up the middle. They'll pick up the first down, and that will be the final play of the half.
I didn't know why they went to go for the first down.
Gonna look good at the stats at halftime, and that's about it. But in the big stat, the scoreboard, the Wildcats with the only touchdown of a 55-yard run by Jim Reeder, the quarterback for Evanston in the second period after a scoreless first period, and the Wildcats lead 6-0 here at halftime.
Well, I enjoyed this one. I enjoyed doing this first half. This was a real good, interesting game. And we'll be back in just a little bit. This is Mark Braun along with Steve Barnabal. We'll be back with the second half in just a moment with the score. The Evanston Wildcats 6 and the Deerfield Warriors nothing. This is Post Newsweek Cable, and we'll be back in just a moment.
as you saw, J-Man Savage quite excited about that initial kickoff return, which has set up the Warriors in good field position at the 35. On the initial play of the second half from scrimmage, the Warriors pick up 5 off tackle on a slant. And again, some interesting conversations there, Mark, at halftime. Niles West talking about a team that's a sleeper in the Central Suburban League. They beating Waukegan last night, and also Chicago War earlier. They may not have been tested yet, but it's kind of always fun this time of year to see a sleeper club come about. It is second down and 6 for Deerfield. And Macheris goes in for another couple as they will come up on 3rd and a long 6 from the 43-yard line of Deerfield. Brett Torrey comes back in now for Deerfield. And there's some talk that Damon Jones, a linebacker of Evanston, may not be back. He is hurting from the first half. Did not see the play on which it happened, but that could be a big break for the Deerfield offense. As mentioned at halftime, Jones a main carrier of that defense for Evanston. And Lyons on the keeper. He's going to get outside. Looks like he's got a first down. He goes out just near the midfield stripe. And Dana Lyons on the keeper that time. He was able to draw the Evanston pursuit towards the middle, then running the bootleg to the near hash mark, and going out of bounds. He picks up the first down just inside Evanston territory. Now Lyons is going to have to open it up a little bit here, and maybe getting him with the ball a few more times, maybe an idea that Adams has discussed at halftime. Lyons was not really one of the primary carriers in the first half. Singer and Macheris did a bulk of the running. And this time a spin-off and still on his feet. And down finally after a gain of 7 yards is Jason Macheris. And now it's looking a little bit like the Warrior football that we've come to know over these years. And that is the strong blocking up the middle and then the back with the second effort putting across that 3-yard run up to about a 6-yard run. Second down and 4. The Warriors with their first real threat here as they are in Evanston territory. They were not able to break Evanston territory during that scoreless second quarter. On the trap play, stopped in the backfield and brought down is number 22, Eric Singer. Singer maybe picked up 1 on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 4 now for Deerfield.
Deerfield came up real big here initially on with that big run back right from the
Macheris with that kickoff return, about a 25-yard one. One has set up this initial drive. From the triple, Singer in the middle behind Lyons. He'll be the second back. He picks up, dropped, and for a loss as Troy Bell comes up and makes the arm tackle, and it'll be 4th down. The Warriors stop cold after that nice first down run by Macheris. The next 3 plays on the ground, all for a total of about a yard loss. So Evanston stiffens up in their first defensive test here in their own territory. And now in the 4th down punting situation, J-Man Savage comes in at his own 45 where he'll take the snap. A high snap, no pressure, a short kick. It's going to drop near the 25. Everybody away from the ball. It will be down to just inside the 20-yard line. One of the Evanston men falling on the ball that time, Hans Bodine. Maybe Hans thought he was on defense, but either way,
Evanston shouldn't have gone down.
No.
Should not have touched that ball.
No, Hans should know that in this kind of weather, that's the first ball that starts squirting out, and suddenly you got a turnover deep in your own territory. But no problem.
Unless something happened over there that we didn't see where somebody accidentally touched it, no reason to be on that.
So a 3.5-minute drive for Deerfield starts off the second half, but no points to show for it. Evanston with the ball now for their first possession. Deep in their own territory inside the 20-yard line. Out of the I formation. And Reeder hands it off. To the right side goes Bryant. And Luther Bryant again gets a couple. And Luther had a good first half for the Wildcats and getting the ball through the hole. But again, the Deerfield linebackers coming up to help the defensive line have stopped him most of the day also. The only touchdown came by Jim Reeder in the first half on a long run. I'm
going to hit you with a real trivia question here. I hit them up here in the press box before the game with it. Who is the all-time Illinois high school scoring leader? Scored the most points in Illinois high school.
That sounds like a tough one. Let's transfer after this play. Second down and 8 now.
I will give you a clue. It is one of the all-time greats in football.
All right, have to think about that one. Reeder, penalty marker. Looks like there was an illegal motion on Evanston. Reeder looking for somebody, finally gets rid of it. It is complete, I believe. Jordan Dalton caught the ball near the 30-yard line, but I think this one's coming back. All right, well, we have the penalty here, Mark. We take a minute to think about it. How about I drop back to Red Grange?
Yeah, I think it was Dalton that moved. Illegal motion.
All right, let's have it with that trivia question. You got me thinking now. I'll have to answer all the greats. Not Dick Butkus. I'm pretty sure of that one. Let's go on the other side of the ball. Yeah, Red Grange. I'll go with the Galloping Ghost.
You got it. Galloping Ghost. Yeah, 532 points in his career.
And then, of course, a prestigious career at Illinois. And then
although, believe it or not, it's not for season. He's not the leader for the season.
Is that right? Well, we'll take a look in the books here. You have to let us know who that is. You know, interesting point of fact here, Deerfield, of course, last year 12-1. Their only loss coming in the third round, the semifinals, and it was a 7-0 game to Wheaton. So these low-scoring ball games, you know, Deerfield has to get on the other side of that. Some points early here would help. The handoff, and again on the carry is Luther Bryant. But Bryant doesn't pick up much. He's near the original line of scrimmage, and he'll be third and long for Evanston. You know, also at halftime, our special guest had mentioned the Lane Tech Indians, who Evanston last year beat in their first round of the playoffs, and the year before lost to in the first round of the playoffs. Matter of fact, Evanston also played Gordon last year in the playoffs, and you're talking about a couple city teams who had good showings, both very close ball games. Well,
Gordon's a Catholic League team, but I think the thing about Lane is their size, and they do have a stadium, they do have a field. A lot of those city schools don't have that.
Reeder dropped in the backfield on the big third down play, and it'll be fourth and very long. A punting situation for the Wildcats.
That was Brian Burns that got in there on it.
I really like Brian. Brian at 5'10" is not your prototypical lineman at 160, but he is also a senior and has seen plenty of playing time over the past 2 years, and he makes a big impact play here in the third quarter, and Evanston will have to punt in the shadow of their own goal line.
Well, Reeder's already had one problem this game with getting the snap.
The key snap here as he calls the signal. This one, the better one to him. He will get the kick off. A nice high kick near the 45. Mansavage picks it up at the 47. He'll go to the right side. Side's got running room. He's at the 40, the 35, the 30. He's got one man to beat. He's at the 20. He peeks to his left. He's wrapped up by Reeder, the punter, and brought down at the 11-yard line. The Warriors, their biggest penetration of the game, and it happens again on special teams. They start off the second half strong on a kickoff return, and now here on a punt return as Mansavage takes it down to the Evanston 12.
Yeah, Steve, that was really the case of the play was set up, and everybody picked their man like they were supposed to. I mean, this was just a classic case of a set play, a set work to the right side here, and it just worked perfectly.
The Warrior bench and fans getting into this one now as the Warriors with an opportunity to score a golden one at that as they line up at the Evanston 12. Lions, two-back formation. He'll hand off to the second man through off a tackle, a gain of maybe 2 as the Warriors again pound away inside.
First man through, and that was Chris Lim, that picked it up and just powered ahead and picked up, they say 2. I would call it a short 2. We'll call it more like a 3, like 7 yards maybe.
You could tell Chris Lim new into the ballgame. He's the one with the clean jersey. They'll fake it to him this time. Lions keeper to the right side. He'll roll. He gets around the corner, but a nice push out of bounds that time.
Yeah, push out of bounds, but he did get to about the 10, so maybe a yard he picked up was all.
That's Rise back in for Evanston, number 85. We mentioned at the beginning of the half that he was limping along the sidelines, but he has come back in strong, and he is a key to that defense at linebacker, and you saw his speed that time as he was able to bring the outside pursuit. Big 3rd and 8 here. The referee conferring, trying to get the placement of the ball, and in so doing allowing the Warriors a little extra time here in the huddle.
They're saying that he didn't pick up anything on that. So, well, this is an important play because you can't go for the 3. You got to go for the touchdown. Now, how do you get those 8 yards? You go to the air,
especially on this kind of field. Though the field goal could cut this score in half, I would be majorly surprised if they were able to put one in.
And added to that is going to the air, is you got to go to the air against some pretty good size on the defense.
Elroy Hill checks out for Evanston. And now Evanston calls a timeout, realizing the importance of the situation.
No, they had a problem with getting men on and off the field.
Well, that was Hill, but as you mentioned,
they had to take the timeout for that, I think.
As you mentioned, Hill getting off the field a little late that time. It takes him a little longer to get off. I think about half the turf already on him here as we're early in the third period. That field is a bit soggy out there. It rained earlier this morning.
It's a bit soggy up here. I can imagine what it is down there.
Yes. He has definitely not changed that.
I did want to thank Dave Southwell. Dave has really been a kind of a strong supporter of my work in the hockey for the last several years with the Sun Times, and
he has a really great outlook on being able to see a lot of teams in the state, especially up our way, and that kind of perspective is nice. Sometimes we get caught up. I mean, we're lucky enough to see 3 or 4 teams here that we cover regularly for Post Newsweek. But
well, I mean, even in the covering it, the way you cover for a city, citywide for a newspaper, is different than the way you look at something like I do. You know, even a league, or then football, team on team. Because you're looking team on team. You're looking, well, I wonder how this one matches up against this player matches up. That sort of thing, as compared to looking, well, I wonder how that team matches up. Where are the overall strengths and the overall weaknesses across the board?
The Warrior cheer comes up from the stands. You see the cheerleaders on your screen wearing the red, gray, silver, it is, and white of Deerfield.
Big play. Big play. Might even be the play of the game here.
They'll put a man in motion. And a handoff, second back through. He will be short of the first down. And that was Christopher Lim again. Lim was the man in motion from the right side. And that was a very effective play. They ran a lot with Jeff Shine last year. And Shine, of course, an outstanding back for Deerfield. Missing some of his big carries today. But right now they're in a 4th and 4 situation. They need to get down inside the 5-yard line for a first down.
Yeah, I think Deerfield really would want to talk this over. Do we go for it now?
Well, Paul Adams comes on the field to do just that.
What do? You go for the 3 and hope later on. This is the best field position they've had all game.
Again,
do you go for it and
the most
put your best shot?
Again, most difficult thing, as you mentioned, I think the field goal would be an obvious in a ball game like this if the field's in better condition and if this was a club that was known for its special team kicking. What I've seen, I can't recommend that. I would have to assume this is a 4th down and 4 must go for the touchdown.
Yeah, I think you almost have to, because you got 4:10 to play in the third. If it were earlier on in the third, I'd say, okay, go for the 3 points. You still got a lot of time left. They have not been moving the ball well. They have not gone to the air at all yet. And you got to.
Now the interesting thing is, what's the call? Do you stay inside and try to do a little better job in the trap blocking? Do you try to get Lions wide?
Well, they haven't been able to do anything outside. I almost say you almost have to go up the middle.
Yeah, one carry by Lions outside was it.
You got to go for the opening and go up the middle.
All right, the fans on their feet here, 4th down and 4. Lions hands it off in the middle, and they do not have a first down. The Wildcats will take over on downs.
Yeah, well, again, they didn't find the hole. A flag goes up.
This is the break Deerfield needs if it goes against the Kids. If not, it will be detrimental to the Warriors because it will get the
Now, does that have the distance to the goal? I think it's on Evanston.
Let's see.
On sportsmanlike against Evanston.
Wow. Wow, that's a costly one.
Now, does that mean before or after?
I believe they will get half the distance on it, and the down will be repeated. I don't think there will be a first down on it, so they would probably fall.
Or is it first down on who gets the ball?
Okay, the referees will mark it off here.
Now, that is the question. Is it first down?
It is a dead ball foul.
No, it is it is Evanston's
Because it happened after the play being a dead ball foul.
Okay.
Evanston Wright will retain possession.
Yeah, well, you got to wait and see, because, you never know. It's 1st and 10, and they'll put it down in the
So not quite as costly of a mistake for Evanston, but it does put them in a deep rut here at the 2. Let's see what the Warriors can come up with on defense here as they miss a golden opportunity to score. Reeder from his 2, split backfield. He will drop, go to the air, looking for the sideline pattern. He's got a man. It is incomplete.
Savage got a hand on
that. Yes, he did.
And lucky he did, too, because the man was behind him.
It was a straight fly pattern down the outside, or the near sideline.
You notice that now that both teams are moving away from the midfield and the midsection. No one's grinding up the middle. Even the running plays are coming over here to the near side and over to the we haven't been that much to the far side, but definitely away from midfield.
Give John Ryle credit, though. Good call, gutsy call, though, throwing from the end zone there on 1st down. But an incompletion brings up 2nd down now, still from the 2-yard line. They'll run it from a strong left formation. Off tackle, very little yardage, maybe 1 on the play, as Deerfield stacks it up. And now the Warriors have a key 3rd down here. There's absolutely no doubt that if they hold here, they should be again with excellent field position.
Yeah, it's going to give if they can hold them, they got it. Warriors are going to have excellent field position.
It's making some changes on the fly here, because they have what some would call a passing situation on 3rd and 13, but that situation augmented by the fact that they're on their own 3-yard line.
Well, you still got to go for the pass here, I think.
From the eye. They'll stay on the ground, go up the middle, get a little bit of room for their kicker as they get it to the 6.
Well, Reeder will still be in there.
Yes, yes, he will. Yeah, I have to think you're going that route in a ball game that's this close, and you don't really want to give any kind of turnover break to Deerfield. Go ahead, give them a good field position and see if they can push the ball on you again. You are up 6-0 here, and I think that was a Coach Ryle thinking on that play for Evanston.
He's got 4th and 10.
And Reeder deep from his own goal line, as you mentioned before. There was one high snap. A high snap here will result in a safety. The snap, a good one. Reeder, no pressure, low line drive kick. And Carlson takes the ball at the 37-yard line. Boom, hit dropped at the 33. Good play by Damon as he went downfield. Damon Jones knocked down the ball carrier, Kevin Carlson, on that play. Carlson only got about 7 on the return. And Evanston really gets out of that better than what could have been a very difficult situation because punting from their own end zone.
Well, I think both teams kind of, they seemed tentative there on the last 2. I mean, once Deerfield got down there, then they seemed very kind of tentative, and once Evanston deep in their zone didn't seem very tentative.
Lim and Fleury wide. They'll go to the first back. Again, the trap gets another 2-3 yards at most. Sure, it's the ball carrier that time.
Well, they're gaining 2 yards. They seem to be doing is regaining about 2-3 yards and then being stopped right now. Deerfield.
You know, I'll tell you what, though, it's really odd, and by seeing these teams match up before and even knowing kind of the makeup of both clubs, this has that strange feel to me, as many a Deerfield victory has, where they have been outplayed but are starting to gain field position, and all it's going to take is one score and a conversion, possibly in a situation such a low-scoring game. Lions on the bootleg. He will look downfield. He throws. He has a man. I think it is incomplete. It is.
Incomplete.
The outstretched arms of number 85, Brett Fleury, the intended receiver. Fleury would have had a first down, but the pass just in front of him. That time, Lions trying to make sure not to throw into the coverage, threw just a little wide.
Well, Lions, all 3 passes that the couple passes I've seen him throw, they
having a hard time getting a spiral today, isn't he?
It just doesn't seem to be. He doesn't seem to have. I don't have a confidence with the way he's throwing it. Does that make sense to you? I mean,
yes.
He's completed a couple. I don't feel that it's They're good passes that he's doing.
The quick hitter over the middle. It's complete, but the ball's dropped. Make that an incompletion. They're not going to call it a fumble. None of the players will fall on it. Brian Jurwitz that time was an eligible tight end, and his size and height advantage there, an interesting play to go to. Didn't have to be a good pass. It really wasn't, but Lyons had his completion until Jurwitz got hit.
That was actually the best pass that I think I've seen him throw. That was not a bad pass. It was just...
well, by default, I think.
Well,
maybe compared to what else we've seen.
Well, I mean, the thing that I think was the case there was just the slippery football. You know, it was...
Jurwitz is going to come off to the near side after that play. And it'll be a 4th down and 8 for Deerfield. The Warriors going. They're at the Evanston 30-yard line. We've got less than a minute to go here in the third quarter. Evanston up 6-zip. A double fake to Lim. Over the middle, Lyons throws it. Is short and incomplete. Nearly intercepted that time. Fleury was the intended receiver. Troy Bell, though, was the closest to the ball. Well, again, Deerfield and Evanston territory, but just not getting any yardage here, Mark.
Lyons just didn't get it up. Had he gotten it up in the air a little bit, he had his man open. He split the coverage, and he was back behind everybody on top of it, back at about the 5 or 10, and Lyons just couldn't get it up in the air, get it over to him.
Evanston with better field position than last time when they started out their own, too. Has a little breathing room now. They take over at the 30-yard line. Again, less than a minute here in the third quarter.
Bryant.
They will go to Bryant, and Bryant goes off a tackle. And again, a similar play to what Deerfield likes to run on first down. They seem to be picking up 4 yards. Deerfield seems to be picking up about 2. Neither one doing a lot, but Evanston doing a little better of getting the ball downfield and setting up better field position, though in this half, that hasn't been the case. And you know what may turn out to be a key play, and that is Jim Reeder making the tackle on the punt return of Jay Mansavage in the third period.
Oh, yeah. And then the question is, with one man back, why did he cut to the middle?
Reeder, and again, broken tackles, and here goes number 22, Luther Bryant, off to the races. He'll take it approximately 65 yards for the Evanston touchdown. Wildcats with a 12-0 lead in what could be the final play of the third period. And that time he broke a hole, and there was no secondary there, Mark.
Well, I think they were looking for the inside, and it went out, and there wasn't a soul around. He busted through, and once he got past the line of scrimmage, there wasn't anybody around him.
And of course, Brian's speed
is fast.
Is not the kind of person you want to see the number of on his back when you're within anything but 2 yards. All right, 12-0 Wildcats. There is actually 1 second remaining on the clock here in the third period. Looks like the Wildcats want a timeout, and they will take one here to discuss probably the extra point conversion if they will go for the 1 or 2 because of the field conditions, and also because the 2 points could give them the 2-touchdown lead, 14-0.
Yeah, but with 1 quarter here left to play.
Oh, and in a game where there hasn't been a lot of offense, you're right. Not their most major concern.
I would just kick it. Be done with it. Just kick it. I wouldn't, you know. Why?
In days like this, I've seen the field like this. Unless again you got a really good holder kicker combo, I can always tend to lean towards the just go ahead and run it in. If you got a shot at it, fine. If you don't, no biggie.
I mean, I guess. What?
And see Coach Adams, you know, it's when you see Paul Adams and he's wearing short sleeves, you know it's got to be 90 degrees out. You always picture Paul with the stocking cap on, well, actually the baseball cap or stocking cap and the big jacket. We're going to have it soon, though, Mark. We're getting the end of those summer days as it is now here in September.
You're saying that in a day like today?
I've got to. This is the only way I'm going to be able to think cool because I sure ain't feeling cool.
It's 85 degrees and the humidity 7 bazillion %, and you're talking to me about stocking caps and long sleeve jackets. And
it's like the guy in the Miller commercial opens the cap of the bottle and the snowstorm starts. That's what we need right here, right now. The last breeze was 18 hours ago.
I know I'm in trouble when you start talking about raccoon coats. Yeah, they are going for the 2, so okay.
All right, Reeder will take it. And he will keep it. He rolls out. He looks to Damon in the corner, and no, he hits the short man. It is complete. 2 men open on the play. It looked like Harold Greenwood, I believe, who made the reception. It was Harold Greenwood with a 2-point conversion, and that will make it Evanston 14-0. Then the 1 second still remains on the clock. Clock doesn't run at the end of the third period there on the conversion.
We'll get one play technically here, I guess, with the kickoff.
Damon Jones open also in the right corner that time. Then Greenwood slipped right underneath him and made the catch that time, Mark.
Yeah, it's showing signs here that Deerfield is having trouble with the size and the speed, and it's just
I also probably gave him the kibosh when I mentioned that this looks like a similar ball game where Deerfield starts getting the momentum going their way. Now, as they say, not to be trite, the backs are more than against the wall, 2 touchdowns down in a game where they are down to their final 12 minutes after this kickoff.
Well, just the same, it's still a lot of time to play here. And of course, this is, you're talking high school sports. It's not like college sports or pro. You get two touchdowns down in a quarter and you go, uh-oh, that's it, it's over.
Reader waiting for the signal. And he gets it, tees it up and boots it. Low line drive will bounce near the 15. And Adi Klinghoffer goes right up the middle, and again, it's a good return for Deerfield. Their third good return of the half.
Oh, did he get labeled there?
He did.
Ow!
Matter of fact, he got hit by, I believe, Harold Greenwood, the man who made the 2-point conversion. And there's a guy showing it both on offense and special teams for Evanston.
Well, the other thing, we're talking before, we're mentioning about the fact of 14 points in 1 quarter. We didn't really mention it with Dave Southwell when he was up here, but the Joliet Catholic last week was down by 20 with 4 minutes left and beat Mount Carmel.
In what was probably the best game of the early season from all reports. And that was, of course, the final play of by the way, of the third period on the kick. So teams are changing sides of the field here, and you see our crowd. Just a full house at Deerfield this afternoon in this classic confrontation of 2 central suburban teams, one from the south, one from the north. And both these teams, of course, favored to win their divisions this year, Mark.
Yeah, and of course, because this is a cross-division rivalry, they don't play each other, and they won't come back in the playoffs and play each other either, because they both play in different brackets in the playoffs. This is their only meeting of the year, so it doesn't have quite the same rivalry as would a New Trier Evanston game. I mean, it's a big rivalry because of the excellence of the 2 football programs, but it doesn't have quite that same intensity to the rivalry
as an interdivision
as an interdivision or as a Loyola Evanston, for instance.
And of course, that was the final game of the year last year for Evanston as they lost to Loyola in the playoffs. But we have to talk a little more about what we mentioned last week, and that is the changing of 6A, 5A schools. This is a game that could be affected by that. Deerfield playing a big school like Evanston, that is Deerfield being the smaller school, that affects the number of totals of the opposite opponent.
It doesn't change them. It still doesn't change them. The way it worked out is it still didn't change them.
Did not this year, but if you add one more out-of-conference game with a larger school, then it's something that maybe the Warriors do have to consider.
That's probably why Deerfield doesn't play New Trier. Because Evanston and New Trier are only like 30 students apart in the total enrollment.
Correct. Second down and 4. Warriors with a 6-yard pickup on first down, and that's been one of their better first down plays here this afternoon. The Wildcats front line and linebackers been very stingy on giving up the yardage. Second and 4, Lions. He's going to roll out. He's going to look deep. He's going long for Mansavage. He's open. He turns around off his hand at the 18-yard line. And that time, Jay Mansavage had to make an adjustment in his route, and he just could not pick up the ball.
Well, Lions got it up there. Had Mansavage been turned the right way all along, he would have had it. He had to turn and look and turn the wrong way, and that one last turn to get near the ball was what cost it.
It looked like he was running a straight fly, and I think you're right, Mark. If he is, he's got to look to the outside shoulder, be able to go to either side. If he's running a post, he looks to the inside. In that case, where he was at in the field, I've got to believe you're right. The adjustment should have came on the original turn. Third down and 4 for Deerfield. Dive play up the middle. And Machuris gets about 2, and again, the Warriors are going to be short of the first down by about a yard.
That's what they're saying. I don't know. From where they're pointing, where they're placing it down, though, it might be a little bit closer than that. I think we're going to have the chain gang coming out here to take a look at this one.
I think it's a little too far for measurement, but it will be close, and this is a tough decision for Deerfield.
No, they are. Okay, you ready to sing?
You ready to sing the chain gang song? All right, you get
it. There they go. And here they come. That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
I'm sorry, I'm doing a lot of backup vocals. They will measure. It does look like they'll be short. Probably
it's short.
A good 6 inches.
No, it's not 6.
Not
it
even
looks a lot.
That full
Yeah.
foot.
Yeah, you can see. His hand's almost right on that thing.
A lot closer than I ever thought.
I'll give it about maybe 30 at the most, 3 inches, 4 inches.
Okay. All right,
Not
4th down and 1. The Warriors at their own 46-yard line.
And they're going to go for it.
They have missed on their last 2 4th down opportunities. This one, the shortest one they've had to go on. They need only, as you mentioned, about 3 inches to get the first down. A big play here, down 14-0.
Go for the keeper.
They will. Lyons, I believe he's got it. He only had to get forward motion, and he did get forward motion.
Yeah. Yep. Got it.
You can hear the coaches for Evanston up here in the booth, a little worried that the clock did not start on that play.
You know, it's funny.
Yes.
You know what it is? It's funny for me because one of the things I do is when I work the hockey is I run the clock, and you should hear this. And I tell them the same thing because I don't work for a team. See,
yes.
The 2 teams start yelling and screaming. I go, you know what? You know what? I'll tell you something, guys. I get paid whether or not I run the clock or not, so don't tell me. You know, I'm neutral. I don't care.
Well, the clock stands at 11 minutes, and there is
I guess they are saying that the clock didn't move.
Yeah, they are consoling on it. It was at 11 before and after the play. Adams up to the booth and said take off. I think it will probably be at 5 seconds.
What did they want? They wanted 3? Oh, okay, they took 5.
Yeah, 10:55 then.
They took 5 seconds off.
Hard to determine how long a play like that is before they had to move the markers because it was a first down carry. All right, everyone's going to get back adjusted in position here at the line of scrimmage. And you can see Nathan Crudup going to the towel here to try and keep the ball dry for Dana Lyons. We'll run it from a strong left side. Off of the tackle again. They push forward for about 3, just short of the midfield mark.
Just right on the midfield. We'll put it right on. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Christopher Lim, the ball carrier that time.
Inches short of the midfield.
James Radigan comes back in now for Deerfield. He and Fleury trading in and out on the play call.
Yeah, official timeout.
Well, having, it seems like, some problems, first of all, trying to get the few seconds off the clock, and now here another little consultation between the referees as to what is actually the situation in ball marking, I believe, or at least something on the field that they've just gotten the towel out. This is a good time, Mark, to talk again a little bit, preview some of our upcoming games that we have this season. Again, we will see Evanston later in the season against New Trier.
We're going to see Evanston next week against Highland Park.
That's right.
So we're going to see them a couple of times this year. And of course,
I'll tell you what, the Giants, looking forward to seeing them. I have not heard much about them so far this season. Again,
I haven't either.
They are a club that has proven to be in a higher echelon in the last couple seasons. Look at that hit at the 48-yard line. Troy Bell just lays the wood to Christopher Lim. Lim looked like he had broken the initial pursuit.
Yeah, it looked like he had all the room, and then all of a sudden up came Bell and just
pads on pads.
Ouched him.
And Bell's only 165, and when you put in 165, 5'7", defensive end coming up there with some speed, look out. 3rd down and 5. Warriors have to get the ball to the Evanston 43-yard line for a first down. They'll run the power formation with the strong right. Lyons goes to there. He looks over the middle. He throws a high pass. It's complete. Fleury catches it, and it's a first down. He's still on his feet and gets inside the 35-yard line. And the first big offensive play we've seen in quite a while again for Deerfield, and it came on a big 3rd and 5.
Good pass. That was a good pass into the coverage.
And Fleury was really the only receiver in the area there that time for Lyons. He did a nice job of picking out the zone, I think.
Right in the coverage, and he still got it through.
All right, 1st and 10. Deerfield in Evanston territory, down 2 touchdowns. is Macheris. Macheris pushes near the 30. Down at the bottom of the pile, Keith Hayward for Evanston, along with Elroy Hill.
Hey, Elroy's another one of my former students.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Elroy was probably a little cleaner in class than he looks today.
Sometimes. Depended on whether I got him before or after the lunch period.
The spread offense for the Warriors. They're going to go to the air again. Man Savage, he's looking for it, but Lyons escapes the tackle in the backfield. Now he's got more pressure. He rolls out. He lets go for his tight end. It is intercepted.
Shouldn't have thrown it.
Unfortunately, it was Ryan Healy who made the interception at the Evanston 10-yard line, and the Warriors shoot themselves in the foot here. Lyons trying to make something out of nothing that time. Did a good job of escaping the pressure, but as you said, probably a ball he should not have thrown.
I think at that point, when he saw it coming down like that, he should have gone out of bounds. Just
if you're on the run like that, your best bet is to be able to throw a ball to a receiver or tight end who is going out of bounds. So if you throw a little wide, it's incomplete, and if you don't, it's your guy. In this case, he threw to a guy who wasn't quite on the sidelines.
He badly overthrew it. And second of all, the coverage was in too tight on him. There wasn't any room along there. I take it out of bounds. He was close to the line mark. Get back to where he was, back to the line of scrimmage. Take it out of bounds.
Reeder hands it off, and it's Luther Bryant. You'd call Mr. First Down today. Luther Bryant with the bulk of carries on first down for Evanston, picks up about 3.
I mean, that was, I'm not saying that what he did, close. I mean, it was a close play.
Sure. Well, you're trying to make something happen in a ball game where you're down and the offense isn't moving a lot, and he had a nice completion earlier in the drive, so he's trying to use a little bit more there, I guess, in motion than head, and it happens.
Yeah.
Again, the Warriors' defense has been good today. It's just a matter of
they're very
being
good.
Put in a situation where they have to get that ball back for the Warriors with good field position. So every series an important one here, down 2 touchdowns. Reed will run the offense out of the eye. And second man through, it's Bell. Penalty marker down, and Bell's going to get wide. He is outside at the 30-yard line. He's got 2 men to beat. He's at midfield. He gets a man in front of him. He's brought down in Deerfield territory at the 45, but there is a penalty marker.
Yeah, and I think
Evanston
it's against
territory.
Evanston for holding. I think it's going to come all the way back. It's against Evanston for holding, I think.
Luther Bryan with the outstanding rush, but as you said, it looks like the Warriors are conferencing back in Evanston territory, and it is a hold against the Wildcats.
Yeah, it was in the interior. It was in that interior along the line there.
And if I caught it correctly, I do believe it did have a big part of breaking that play, so it wasn't like Bryan was cheated. He may not have gotten that running room without the hold.
Oh, there seemed very little question on that one, because
in wrestling, it would have been a 2-point takedown. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things. It was as soon as it happened, you saw the flag came flying high in the air, like he was really upset about what he saw inside there. The ref was. Second and 12. That looks like about 13.
Yeah, I was going to say second down and long. Either way, Reeder will run the trap play off tackle, and it'll only pick up a couple. It'll be just short of the original line of scrimmage, where it'll be 3rd and long for Evanston.
Well, we got Mundelein coming up in a couple weeks.
Against Stevenson, a night game.
Against Stevenson.
And we'll also have Stevenson with Libertyville. A couple weeks after that, we'll take a week off.
We do have a week off in there, huh?
We do. As a matter of fact, next week with Evanston, we're still working out the coverage of that game. We know also Evanston High School covering their own games most of the season at home. They, I believe, are getting a feed of this game today. So for our viewers in Evanston, we welcome you.
I'm still alive, people.
On the carry, guess who? Breaking tackles again.
He just slid right through people there. There were about 5 or 6 missed tackles in there.
Sir Bryan looking sharp today. Fourth down now for Evanston. It will be a punting situation. Man Savage will drop back for Deerfield, along with Kevin Carlson near midfield.
It's too bad that long run was pulled back for Evanston, on the Evanston side of the ball. Now Deerfield going to get good field position.
Reeder, plenty of time, low kick. Man Savage is going to have a hard time fielding it. He makes an over-the-shoulder catch and stays in bounds. A nice play. He's at the 40 and gets inside the 40-yard line. Again, good field position for Deerfield. But the clock, ever the enemy here, only 5:24 in the ball game, and Deerfield needs the quick score.
Yeah, the mud, I think, starting to have its effect on the legs. It seems to be.
A lot of these players, as we mentioned before last week, playing both ways, and the effects of the field conditions definitely taking their toll late in the fourth quarter. Lions, he'll go to the air again. He's got 2 receivers. He hits his man, Brett Fleury, at the 22-yard line, complete. And Lions gets a nice 15-yard completion that time for a first down.
Big gain, big important play, moving it down.
As we said, not the kind of offense you think of as being the quick score offense, but with the luck they've had on trap plays and off tackle plays today, frankly, they can use this sort of change of pace maybe to get something going.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot on the ground, and the holes haven't been there, and it hasn't been working. So now maybe going to the air is maybe the answer here.
Lions will do it on the rollout, but no room to run as he's sacked in the backfield. Number 53 for Evanston is Hans Bodine, and Hans got in almost right after the snap. I'm not sure anyone got a piece from that time, Mark.
Hans Bodine, I think, is the one who brought him down.
I don't think Hans ever got touched, though, on that play. I think he came in almost pre-snap. I don't know if it was a misread or if he was stunting. All right, the big loss will drop Deerfield back to a 2nd and 15 at their 27-yard line. Lions, a 2 short drop, throws to his outside man. It's Singer, so it's complete. Singer goes towards the sidelines, but cannot get out of bounds. He gets near the 20-yard line. It'll be 3rd and about 10. And the clock has stopped. Now it's starting to run. He was dropped inside the yard mark, or the foul line.
Let's see where we are here. 3rd and...
I'm surprised a little bit there. We haven't seen more of Eric Singer. Singer
3rd and 8.
Previous seasons has gotten his share of work, and that was with other backs such as Jeff Shine we mentioned earlier. Today, though, some limited action. The Sheriffs, they were trying to establish early and were not able to do so. They'll run a power right for him. Lions, a quick drop, throws the ball, and it's deflected, incomplete. Damon Jones came in that time and tipped the ball.
Big size. The big size there. Couldn't get it up over him.
And now 4th down. Deerfield again to go on 4th with 3:22 remaining in the ball game. This is just about it here. No first down, and the Warriors will just not have the clock unless we have a miracle.
Yeah, they don't, the clock's really working against them now.
Lions hands it on the counter. The second man through, Christopher Lim. Lim's still on his feet, believe it or not. I think he may have a first down and does.
Yeah.
Well, they pulled that one out of their back pocket. Certainly looked like a 3-4 yard pickup at most.
Needed to.
The fans react, knowing that their hopes are dim, but they have been enlightened a little bit by the Christopher Lim run that time as he bounced off tackle for about an 8-yard pickup.
Yeah, I think that's one of the few missed tackles I've seen the Wildcats have all day today.
Warriors just outside the 10-yard line. Can't pick up another first down near the 1. On first, Lions, triple backfield. Hands off to Singer. Singer tries to get wide, and he's dragged down in the backfield. No gain, maybe a loss of 1.
No, it looks like he got back to the line, just to the line. That's
Curtis Bamberger in on the tackle at time for the Wildcats.
Now they say he picked up a yard.
You know, looking at this weather, I'm thinking of Dante Wharton from Evanston, the big back from last year, and he's a fullback that used to kind of enjoy this sort of weather. He enjoyed running over people. Actually, I was sort of surprised today to see Evanston having as much effect with the speed that they have, feeling that the turf would make it more difficult.
You reminded me of a great story about running over people, but I'll save it.
Okay.
I'll save it.
Ball is loose. Lions had a hard time picking it up. I believe the Warriors do recover, but they will lose it down and a couple of yards on it.
In my time in high school, we had a player, the coach used to get him in on the Monday morning films and go, when are you going to learn to run around people instead of through them? He did that once too often. He did it against Maine South, and Maine South had a player who is now in the NFL, Dave Butts, and he tried to run over Dave Butts. He did it once.
Well, Dave Butts
wouldn't do it again because his Butts kicked him right in front of everybody on the whole play.
Lions going to the end zone for Fleury. It is incomplete. Good coverage that time. A little bumping down there.
Man. Yeah,
but there was no interference.
Three guys there. Three guys there on him. Do you think Evanston sort of smelled that one out?
Believe they saw that one on the chalkboard. 4th down now for Deerfield. And again, they need to get the ball down near the 1-yard line for a first down. Dave Butts, boy, he used to always have that classic helmet that used to always have all the nicks and scratch marks on it. It was from a lot of backs who thought they could run over him but didn't.
Yeah, well, this one did. Of course, he was about 6'2", 220. He was a fullback. Nice size.
Size to burn. All right, 4th and 9, 1.5 minutes remaining here. This is the ball game for Deerfield. Over the middle, the ball is tipped. It is incomplete, and Evanston will take over. And with 1:31, they will try and run out the clock here as they sit on a 14-0 lead.
Well, this is, you wonder on games like this, whenever you get run into football games. I know you got to take it on the conditions and stuff, but you wonder what this would have been like on a dry field. You wonder what a game like this would have been like with slightly different weather conditions, the humidity and so forth.
The two things I think have been dominant for Evanston have been, as you mentioned earlier, the line play and especially the linebackering play of Damon Jones today for Evanston. He's been everywhere.
Yeah, that interior line of Evanston has been the key factor in this one.
They'll go straight up the gut. Luther Bryant about to.
And I think the other thing that has been Bryant and also Reeder. I think Reeder's done a great job in controlling himself.
And certainly the big play touchdown in the first half here too, and this is the kind of ball game that the team that scores first obviously has a decided advantage, knowing that both defenses have been very solid in previous seasons, and they will be again this season.
Yeah, well, in both those long touchdowns was errant play on the part of the Warriors. Be it big holes opened up, people didn't get to where they were supposed to be. Missed somewhere.
And of course, there was no catch-up when Luther Bryant scored his touchdown earlier.
I don't.
55-yard run.
On the other hand, for Deerfield, I don't think, even though Lions hadn't put anything on the board, I don't think he's played badly. I mean, I think he's played a very good game here. I think it's just been a matter of the condition of the field that has made the difference for him. And the things inside on the line, not that Lions has done anything wrong. Lions hasn't done anything wrong.
1:17 to go in the ball game. Clock is stopped. Wildcats on a 2nd down and 9. From the eye. Second man through. Luther Wright, and he goes up the middle again. Short yardage. Warriors trying to strip it away, but having no luck here. And for Deerfield, Mark, next week they're on the road at Maine South. And Maine South has been an improved team over, let's say, the past 5 years. But the early word this season is they're not quite as good as, let's say, the last 2 years. And so it should be a game where Deerfield can maybe get back on their feet. But they are on the road, and so that's a good test, I believe, for them.
Well, Maine South is supposed to fight with Evanston for the title in the Central South. But from what I'm hearing, I don't think they're all that strong to do that. I think this is this might even be an easy season in a sense for Evanston. As far as winning the South, I don't,
and winning
outside.
the North, I think you have to say that Deerfield probably is a bit head and shoulders above the other teams, at least on paper, going into the season.
On paper.
Thank goodness they don't play them on paper.
Well, I think the difference is too that you got to question is what this loss, assuming it is, for Deerfield is going to do for their confidence.
If anyone is good at bringing a club back from losses, it's usually Paul Adams, thus his long standing here at Deerfield. Yet he has faced that situation rarely because the teams have been so good.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but that is, you look at a game.
Always a concern, certainly.
And to be perfectly honest with you, looking at this Deerfield team this year, I don't think they're as strong as other Deerfield teams have been.
I'm not saying that they're
At
bad.
this point in the season, I would agree. Reeder off tackles. The handoff to Luther Bryant. And the clock under a minute to go. It'll bring up a 4th down and a punting situation for Evanston, so Deerfield will get the ball back at least one more time.
I mean, I don't think that I don't think Deerfield really has that much to worry about in their division. But on the other hand, a loss has to take something out of you.
Certainly, and you know, one of the games I always look forward to is the Highland Park Deerfield matchup. We cover both clubs here on Post Newsweek, and that's the way we end the season this year, and that should be a fun one. We've got that one on the road at Highland Park.
Well, I think you know, we talked about it last week, and we can mention it again this week. Is that high school, unlike college, when you get to a rivalry happens in the stands. At college level, it really doesn't happen on the field because you're working in a much different environment, playing the game differently at the college level. At the high school level, it's much more inconsistent. The emotions get so keyed up all week long in class. You're in with everybody. You see everybody all week long. The whole attitude of it changes inside a high school and inside a high school rivalry. And that's why a Highland Park Deerfield game, an Evanston New Trier game, games like that have just a completely different makeup than a regular divisional game, Glenbrook North versus Evanston,
For instance, sure.
Deerfield versus Niles North.
Big thing, as you mentioned, especially with the Highland Park Deerfield, is the locale, too. You're so close. The opposite players get to talking between the games. The ones who are seniors have seen each other a couple years.
And it's just
you got
tradition.
It's tradition. Reeder with the high snap. It's going to be a safety. Deerfield may get their first points, and they do. It comes with 23 seconds remaining in the ball game, so Evanston loses their shutout on a special teams play here, but one that shouldn't have much effect on the outcome.
Well, the thing about that is it happened at the good time. Had it happened back on the other side,
2 other times he was able to get good snaps in key situations.
deep inside the zone back there, had it happened on the first time that right after the specialty kicked back and Reeder stopped the play, and they stopped, and then Evanston stopped them, and then Deerfield stopped Evanston, and they had to kick it from the 2.5 or the 2 or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Had it happened then, it would have been an entirely different football game down the road.
Warriors have to think a little would have, could have, should have there, but it just is one of the breaks of the game. And with 23 seconds remaining here, the score 14-2 in favor of Evanston. Because of the safety, a free kick for Evanston. Reeder will probably punt the ball from his 20-yard line. You can see the calves and thighs of Reeder there really taking on most of that field this afternoon. This is a 8-dial bar soap game, as they say.
Parents, just be glad you're not the ones that have to put that stuff in the laundry.
Kick is short, taken by the up man, Christopher Dorsch, and Dorsch goes out of bounds, does a smart thing near midfield, inside Evanston territory. And so 19 seconds, Deerfield, again, will, as we mentioned, have one last chance to try and get an offensive score on the board.
Well, you know, this is classic North Shore football, you know, solid.
Won and lost at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
First and 10, Lions still in there, going to the air. He's looking for Man Savage deep. He's got one-on-one coverage, and he makes the reception in front of the defender down at the 12-yard line. So the Warriors with 11 seconds. They have to wait for the markers to move. The clock is stopped. We'll see if Lions tries to bury the ball here so they can get off at least 1 or 2 more plays and a chance to score that offensive touchdown.
Can't they take a timeout, or are they out of timeouts?
I believe they're
Don't
out
want
of
a
timeouts,
timeout?
but I'm not sure.
Probably don't want to take the timeout.
They must be out. And Lions will throw it away, intended for the linesman.
This is Evanston Town
Park is going to have their backs to the wall on this one.
Certainly going in against an Evanston club that's proven so strong in its first 2 games. Of course, I believe Michael Bryn back for Highland Park, a good QB, and probably the best of the 3 teams they faced. Nothing against Dana Lyons. He is a good QB, as you mentioned earlier. Not a bad game today, but I think Bryn a better passing quarterback. Lyons going to the air. He's got plenty of pressure. He gets away from one. He throws across his body for Fleury. Off his hands, the ball's tipped incomplete. And that looks like the final play. It is. It is. You're right, Mark. The ball game ends on the incompletion. The Warriors, they're a mini composite of the whole game. Could not quite get that ball moving. Couldn't put it in the end zone. And they lose here.
Never got the offense cohesive.
And they lose here today in their second game of the season as their record goes to 1-1. Evanston goes to 2-0. And the final score, the Wildcats 14 and the Warriors 2. Terrific game, as you mentioned, that was pretty classic Central Suburban, decided mostly by the interior line. Evanston looking a little stronger. And again, a game that will not affect either team in division because this is a cross-division rivalry. And just a good yardstick early in the season to see what these clubs have.
Well, the thing that it will do is, as far as the papers, the newspapers and so forth, the rankings, but it doesn't, you know, yeah, you like to see everybody get up on, you know, you like to see 1, 2, 3, 4, but the North, but the fact is that high school sports being what they are on the North Shore these days, it's a fun game, it's fun to watch, and it's fun to be out and see a good classic mud bowl game up in that mud pit up in midfield. But, you know, it's interesting, again, because I have a chance to see some of those Evanston kids that I had in school. It's interesting to see some of the Deerfield kids who I saw briefly in some of your broadcasts last year. You know, see how they mature, see how they develop.
An early
and that's
measuring
what
stick.
This is for. You know,
An
you
early
look
measuring stick. And as for Deerfield, Maine South next week is going to have to look out. This is a club that Paul Adams will probably have very pumped up.
Well, I mean, it's one thing to look at them from the level of Evanston versus somebody like Niles North. That's one way to look at it, you know.
Okay.
But when you put 2 teams that are fairly close head-to-head, you get an entirely different perspective and a much more honest appraisal of the 2 teams. And that's what I think we saw today, is a much more honest appraisal. It doesn't necessarily go anywhere beyond that.
Our ball games to look at next week. The 4 clubs we're covering. New Trier will be at Glenbrook North on a Friday night ball game. Then on Saturday, as we mentioned, Deerfield will be at Maine South and Stevenson will be at Antioch. And the game you'll see on Post Newsweek will be Highland Park at Evanston. I'm Steve Bartaball. Again, thank you, Mark, for covering me today. Finally got myself up here to catch a good ball game. Unfortunately for Warrior fans, a 14-2 loss. We thank you for joining us here on Post Newsweek. Steve Bartaball and Mark Braun bidding you a good evening.
At center, a senior, number 53, Nathan Kuda. At guard, a senior, number 64, Dave Jordan. At tackle, a junior, number 66, Robert Kasparek. At guard, a senior, number 71, Josh Smith. At end, a senior, number 85, Brett Fleury. And at end, a senior, number 89, Brian Jurowitz. Head coach of the Warriors, Paul Adams. Assistants, Mike Flanagan, Mike Kohler, Ron O'Connor, and David Whitson.
How you doing, man?
Ladies and gentlemen, under the direction of Dan Bream and drum majors Erica Landon and Liz Harrison, here's the 1991 Deerfield High School Warrior Marching Band. for today's game, referee Wayne Kendall, umpire Jack Stump, linesman Tom Campanell, line judge Frank Enda, and back judge Ian McCauley. Thank you for your support of this policy.
Okay, probably should have got higher because,
Kicking off the Warriors,
you know what I
number 10,
mean?
Jay Mansavage.
Let me see now.
This red button should be right there, David. That should be your
To receive for Evanston, number 7, Tavish Davis, number 80, Laurel Wilson.
No, you don't use them very often. They're all so good.
I can't see nothing.
Kicking off the return. Luther Bryant, the ball carrier for the Wildcats. Gain of 3 on the play. Jim Ranigan on the stop for the Warriors.
Get in and go.
Pass complete to number 8, Jones. Fleury in on the stop to the Warriors. Be 3rd and 5 for the Wildcats. Luther Bryant, the ball carrier for the Wildcats. Tackled by London and Jurowitz. 4th down for the Wildcats. Carlson and Mansavage to return the punt.
Good block now. Get out. Get out. Get it. All right.
Jay Mansavage on the return of the Wildcat punt. Be 1st and 10 for the Warriors on the Evanston 49-yard line.
Freshman maybe, sophomore maybe. I really don't think they need to. They don't. You can see it.
Chris Lim, the ball carrier for the Warriors.
Yeah, but they always are.
Stopped by Washington and Bell of the Wildcats. Gain of 8, 2nd and 2.
Oh, come on, baby. Better than that. Yeah.
Lim, the ball carrier. Stopped by Troy Bell. 1st and 10 for Deerfield. Evanston's 36-yard line. Number 30, ball carrier. Stopped by Damon Jones, number 85. Gain of 5.
That'd get wet.
Shares the ball carrier.
Moving them out.
Andrew Martin, the tackle for Evanston. 3rd and 3.
Yeah, it was a hole. Yeah. That's really what needs to be happening anyway.
She's right here.
Because they can't stretch the line.
4th and 9 for the Warriors. Man Savage to punt.
Let this go in. Look up. Fall on the ball.
Aaron Greenwood covering the block punt for Evanston. The 1st and 10 Evanston on their 31-yard line.
Somebody else going to keep things up. That was your son that took off and tried to get a mouthpiece in on there. You know what? I thought he was trying to fasten his chin strap. All of that.
Fleury and Redigan on the stop for Deerfield. Gain of 6. Officials timeout.
Come on, Chico.
Torrey Woodman, the ball carrier for Evanston.
Wide.
Stopped by Radigan. Third and 1 for Evanston.
Run the fullback again. Yeah, you can see you right there. Yeah. On it? Yeah. All right.
Stopped by Jewell and Radigan. 1st and 10, Evanston on their own 45-yard line.
Game. Throw the ball. Yes! Yes! Yes!
Raiders pass intended for Wilson. Incomplete.
On the money.
Number 23, Kevin Carlson on the coverage for Deerfield.
Dave, you gonna go that far, you might as well
Second
catch it.
down.
You might as well. Man. A couple times moving on the line. Batting around anything. He can chest. Boom. But you practice all week, right? All right. Good option. That's good option. Yes! Yes!
On the Deerfield 29-yard line.
Yeah, let's play on that side of the field. Right out there. Well, I was asking where he was.
Bryant, the ball carrier. Down by number 10, Man Savage. Robert Kasperick.
That's right.
Number 25 from Deerfield, James Redigan.
He wasn't looking for the ball, Debbie. He wasn't looking for the ball, Debbie.
First and 10,
Guys at all
on their own 12-yard line.
Oh, well. No defense! All right, defense now.
Chris Lynn, the ball carrier. Stopped by 53, Hans Bodine.
Oh, it's a
Gain of 7. Machera's the ball carrier. Stopped by Bell and Carter from Evanston. First and 10, Deerfield.
Hi, how you doing?
Machera's the ball carrier. Tackled by Troy Bell, number 4. Gain of 8.
Uh-oh. Oh, my God.
Lions pass complete to number 44, Mike Jewell. First and 10 for the Warriors. Loss of 1 on the play, second and 11 for Deerfield from their own 36-yard line.
Good be there. Hold them, kids.
Ryan Bryant's pass complete to number 30, Jay Macheris. Gain of 4 on the play. 3rd and 7 for Deerfield.
Let's go, D! Come on, D! Hold him, D! Let's go, defense! Come on, D! Get the ball.
Fourth down.
Hey, way to go. Way to go.
Pitch to number 22, Bryant. Stopped by Jim Radigan. Into the first quarter. Bryant, the ball carrier. Flag on the play. Moray on the stop for Deerfield. Preliminary signal, illegal motion against the Wildcats. Illegal shift against the Evanston Wildcats, declined by the Warriors as a 3rd and 8.
Run it, brother.
Extra point attempt.
The holder bubble.
11:24 remaining in the second period. Deerfield, Evanston 6, Deerfield 0.
All right.
Number 7, Davis, tackle for the Evanston Wildcats.
Number 9 can run too.
Kelly. Healy. That's Healy. Get in.
Shares the ball carrier. Greenwood on the stop for Evanston. Second and 10. Shares the ball carrier. Stopped by Hayward. Gain of 5, third down.
Let's go, D! Come on, D! Come on, hold him, guys! Let's hold him! All right, yes!
Fourth down for the Warriors.
Bring it back.
Washington and Davis back to receive the Warrior punt. Number 10, Jay Mansavage.
Go get him! Let him know you're out there.
The last credit card with the name Margaret Kinney. Margaret Kinney can be claimed at the southeast gate of our stadium. Thank you. Margaret Kinney can be claimed at the southeast gate of the stadium. Thank you. 22, Bryant, the ball carrier.
All right, give him the yardage.
Juror on the stop for Deerfield. Gain of 4. Bryant, the ball carrier.